Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Creepy Stories with Kyleen. I hope you enjoyed my last story, and I'm going to tell you at the end if it was real or not. But today, I have a chilling tale to tell you that may or may not be true. It's one that's been shrouded in mystery for centuries. It's the story of the lost ship called Griffon. The ship was built by René Robert Cavalier, Sieur de La Salle, in hopes to find the Northwest Passage to Asia. The ship was the first of its kind on the upper Great Lakes of Canada. The Griffon led the way to modern commercial shipping to North America. But its maiden voyage turned out to be its last, and the ship vanished without a trace, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and dark legends. Le Griffon was a sturdy vessel, built to withstand the harsh conditions of the Great Lakes. Its crew consisted of seasoned sailors, men who had faced the perils of the sea and emerged victorious. They were confident that they could handle anything that came their way, but they were wrong. It all started on the ship's return from Green Bay, Wisconsin. The crew had loaded the ship with furs, precious cargo that was worth a fortune. They were eager to return home and reap the rewards of their long and exhausting journey. But their fate had other plans. The weather was calm when they set sail that September day, but that soon changed. Out of nowhere, dark clouds began to gather on the horizon, and the winds started to pick up. The crew worked tirelessly to keep the ship on course, but it was a losing battle. The storm grew too fierce and too powerful. It battered the ship mercilessly, tearing at its sails and rocking it back and forth. The crew huddled below deck, praying for the storm to pass and writing notes to their family in case their bodies ever washed up on shore. But it only grew worse. Lightning flashed, thunder roared, and the ship creaked and groaned under the strain. Water started to seep in through the cracks, and the crew frantically tried to stop the flow, but it was no use. The ship was taking on water, fast, and they could do nothing to stop it. As the ship began to take on water, terror gripped the crew. Frantically, they searched for anything that could keep them afloat, but the stormy waves threatened to swallow them whole. The ship leaned to one side, creaking and groaning as it was tossed about the unforgiving wake. The once mighty vessel was no match for the power of the freak hurricane, and it began to break apart under the relentless anger of the storm. In the inky blackness, the crew struggled to stay alive. The freezing water sucked the warmth from their limbs, and the wind and the waves battered them relentlessly. As the ship disintegrated around them, they clung to whatever scraps of wood they could find, their fingers numb and their muscles burning with exertion. The desperate cries of their fellow sailors echoed across the turbulent waves, but they were helpless to save them. One by one, the crew succumbed to the icy embrace of the sea. What sounded like a slaughter of men screaming became less and less loud as they were disappearing beneath the waves in a blur of fear and despair, until there was silence, both the voices and the storm. The Great Lake had claimed its price, and it was satisfied. The few men who survived the initial onslaught were not much better off. They found themselves stranded on a desolate island with no hope of rescue. The days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. They waited and waited, hoping for a miracle, but it would never come. As the months passed, the survivors started to lose their minds. They became convinced that the island was cursed. They would hear tribal drumming and singing coming from deep within the island. They saw ghosts and heard strange noises at night, and they were tormented by the visions of their lost shipmates. The survivors slowly disappeared one at a time by something on the island. They knew that they were going to die there, alone and forgotten, and there was nothing they could do to stop it. And then, one day, the last survivor of the shipwreck had heard a strange sound coming from the sea. It was the sound of a ship's horn, piercing and mournful. He rushed to the shore, hoping against hope that he would be rescued. But there was no ship to be seen, only the dark and angry waters of the lake. He heard his name being called in the wind from the sea. He decided to walk into the lake towards his name. As he got out further, a massive, shadowy shape emerged from underneath him. He let out one last shriek, and then everything went calm again. Let me know what you thought about this week's creepy story. Last week's story, called The Circle, was a story that I made up. Did you guess correctly? See you in my next video. If you like this, please give me a like and subscribe. Thank you, and see you next week. Bye, guys!